This is my favorite tip that my mama taught me. If you're moving into a little bit off neighborhood, or like you going into a place where you feel like you don't know what's going on or who's going to be where, I gotta tell you something. When you move into that neighborhood, scope the scene out in the day, scope the scene out on a Sunday, scope the scene out on a Friday, scope the scene out on a Saturday. So basically, the weekend. If you want to do a Monday, sure. You want to do a couple weekdays, sure. Even if it's just driving through the neighborhood on your way home from work or on your way to work, depending on where the neighborhood is. But if you want to move in, make sure you scope that scene out. Pay attention to what's going on where. Pay attention to whose house is hot and whose house is not. So you know who's going to make a bad neighbor, who's going to make a good neighbor. Another thing is do that at night. So if you need to really know what the neighborhood is like, drive through at night. Once the sun set, the freaks come out. So you need to be going around, looking around for what's going on, who's going where, who's what's, and doing this, that, and the third. You need to be paying attention to your surroundings to make sure, even though this is a bad neighborhood or this is one of the lower income neighborhoods, you need to make sure that the danger ain't gonna be coming your way anytime soon. So, scoping the scene out early can help you avoid certain sticky situations you definitely don't want to be put in, especially if you have children. Another thing, look for what type of amenities they have for children. Like, is there a park? Is there a park within walking distance? Is there a park within driving distance? My neighborhood, we don't have a park, but up the road, there is a park, you know. So, those are things to look out for if you got kids. Another thing to look for is a church. If you have a church in the neighborhood, sometimes you got to be wary of the people coming to knock at your door and ask for money or whatever. I don't know. If you like that, you love that, that's fine. But I don't like that at all. And I'm the main one. If you need to make sure, okay, maybe I need to buy a couple of certain things that let them know they need to keep their ass off my property. Boom. Another thing, make sure you get no trespassing signs. Because if somebody trespass, then legally speaking, you could call, hey, I told them to get the hell off my property. I got no trespassing signs on the property, and they still decided to walk their happy ass up here. They got to go. Call Joe and them. Tell them, hey, come get your peoples. Another thing, make friendly with the neighbors, specifically the elderly neighbors. My neighbor across the street, she's elderly. We'd say good morning, good afternoon, good night. How you doing, ma'am? We talk to her quite often. She was also kin to a couple of my cousins on they father's side, so it makes it pretty easy as well. Neighbors next door, we don't know the parents, but my brother knows their kids. Neighbors across the street, we don't know the parents, but I'm friends with one of them, and my brother's friends with a couple of them. That's, build the neighborly connections. It don't even matter how long it really take, just as long as it's happening. Another thing, when it's actually time for you to move into this neighborhood, like I said, when you do those nighttime drive-throughs and drive-bys or whatever, you need to be looking out for who's outside. Who's outside when you slow rolling through the neighborhood? Who's watching you watch them? Because once it's time for you to move in, you need to know, can I do this late at night, or do I need to pull up 4 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning to go ahead and get all my stuff moved in as quickly as possible so no one can see what's going into my house and see what I got. Also, prior to moving in, if you're living in a place that don't have any type of curtains or have a bunch of big open windows, make sure before you go in there, and before you move in, you could do this like the day before you move in or whatever, as long as everything's signed and they're allowing you to go onto the property. Even if you're just putting like plain curtains and no blinds up yet because cha-ching, extra expenses, Put curtains on them windows. Lets people around the neighborhood know somebody's moving in, but it also lets them know you're not going to be able to see what's going on in this house because I'm protected. Boom. Another thing, since you're moving in at night or very early morning, make sure that the people that you're moving in with know the ground rules. Okay, you pulling up, I don't need you playing no type of loud music. Pull up quietly. We're trying to be stealthy. The moving bands already make a lot of noise, but you need to be stealthy when you're moving in because you don't know which YN is talking. You don't know who's got the binoculars out their window watching. So when you move in, take the valuables inside first. So if they just see you moving in a couch or two and a couple of dressers, they're like, they ain't got nothing. Also, while you're moving in your curtains and putting curtains up and stuff, go ahead and take boxes of clothes, dish stuff, all that type of stuff, and do the big stuff last. A lot of people move into these neighborhoods not knowing the culture, but being new to these spaces can make you an easy target depending on how you like to live your life. Personally, me, if I'm moving into the hood as a certified hood resident, someone who doesn't even mind going back to the hood, I'm gonna do it safely and smartly because there's no reason not to. You get a package to your house, you'd like to order off Amazon and get packages to your house, you need to make sure you got cameras by the porch. You need to make sure you got eyes up there. Lucky for us, we got family in the neighborhood, so our eyes could drive by and be like, hey, you got a package on the porch. I took it to my house. Make sure you come get that when you get back. Understand? These are just a couple of little things you need to look out for when it's time for you to move to a new spot. Another thing that's a good little tip, if you got room to get your moving vehicle back there to the backyard and you got a back door, you got space to get your vehicle to the back door, don't move in through the front door. Move in through the back door. Take the attention off the front door. Ain't nobody gonna be looking in your backyard if they don't even know you back there. That's all. That's it, that's all. It's probably going on YouTube now that I think about it. Bye.